Modern life rewards accumulation. More commitments, more obligations, more inputs, and slowly clarity disappears. Most people respond by organizing harder, optimizing harder. Usually, the overload gets worse because the problem is not poor management, it is excess. A system buried under too many commitments cannot recover through more structure alone. Eventually, control only returns through subtraction. Most people confuse more options with more control, so they keep saying yes. New projects, new responsibilities, new obligations. Attention fragments, energy disperses. Important work receives shallow focus while life becomes increasingly reactive. The deeper trap is emotional. Removing commitments feels like failure or lost opportunity, so accumulation continues until exhaustion forces collapse. Most people know something must go, they just cannot decide what to remove. This is where most people freeze. But at Solver Studio, we go to our toolkit, the Solver 6. The tool here is the leverage shift momentum. Small changes at critical points create disproportionate results. Momentum rarely comes from massive force. Usually, it comes from removing the single obstruction slowing the entire system. The goal is not optimizing everything. It is identifying the one input creating maximum friction with minimal real value. That is the leverage point. First, define the current load clearly. List every commitment consuming time, energy, or emotional bandwidth. Make the invisible visible. Most overwhelm stays vague. That vagueness protects the accumulation. A full inventory exposes the true pressure points. Next, identify the highest friction commitment. Which obligation consumes major energy while creating minimal, meaningful return? Usually, it is the commitment people resist removing most. A draining role, an outdated responsibility, a guilt-maintained obligation. Ignore sunk cost. Look only at systemic impact. Which subtraction restores the most clarity? Finally, subtract decisively. Not optimization, removal. Eliminate the identified input completely. That single subtraction creates immediate space inside the system. Attention returns, capacity returns, momentum returns. Clarity often appears not when something new is added, but when unnecessary pressure disappears. The leverage shift restores momentum through strategic subtraction. Define the full load. Identify the highest friction input. Remove it completely. Complex systems rarely stabilize through addition. Usually, they stabilize through intelligent reduction. Consider someone overwhelmed by constant obligations. They already know one commitment drains them disproportionately. Maybe it's a volunteer role, a recurring social obligation, an outdated responsibility they no longer believe in. But removing it feels emotionally dangerous, so the overload continues. The leverage shift reveals the pattern clearly. The strongest resistance often marks the exact leverage point requiring removal. Once it disappears, time and energy return immediately. The system stabilizes because the friction source is gone. Most people search for a better system to manage overload. Often, the real solution is subtraction. Clarity does not come from endlessly adding structure to a crowded life. It appears when non-essential friction is deliberately removed. Strong systems are not the ones carrying the most. They're the ones protecting the essential few. That's how momentum returns.